Goatee.
Don't talk to me. Come on, Pelican.
Jonah! Woo! Good!
Jonah!
The word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai.
Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me.
But Jonah ran away from the Lord and headed for Tarshish. He went down to Joppa, where he found a ship bound for that port. After paying the fare, he went aboard and sailed for Tarshish to flee from the Lord. Then the Lord sent a great wind on the sea, and such a mighty storm arose that the ship threatened to break up. The sailors were afraid, and they each cried out to their own God.
Oh God!
Then they threw the cargo into the sea to lighten the ship.
I'm not cargo!
Jonah went down below the deck, where he lay down and fell into a deep sleep. The captain went to him and said,
How can you sleep? Get up and call on your God. Perhaps you'll take notice of us and we will not perish.
Then the sailors said to one another,
Come, let us cast off to find out who is responsible for this calamity.
So they cast lots, and the lot fell on.
Jonah!
So they cast lots again, and the lot fell on.
Jonah!
So they asked him,
Tell us, who's this responsible for making all this stuff for us? What did you do? Where do you come from? What is your country?
What people are you?
Who are you? So he answered,
I am a Hebrew, and I worship the God of heaven who made the sea and the land.
This terrified them. So they asked him.
What have you done?
They knew he was running away from the Lord because he had already told them so. The sea was getting rougher and rougher. So they asked him.
What should we do to you to make the sea calm down for us? Pick me up and throw me into the sea.
He said.
For the sea will become calm, for I know this is my fault that this great storm has come upon us.
Instead, the men did their best to row back to land. But they could not. The sea grew even wilder than before. And they cried out to the Lord.
Oh Lord!
Do not let us die for taking this man's life. Do not hold us accountable for killing an innocent man. For you, O Lord, have done as you please.
Then they took Jonah, and they threw him overboard. And the raging sea grew calm. At this, the men greatly feared the Lord. And they offered a sacrifice to the Lord. Sorry. And they made vows to the Lord. Then God provided a great fish to swallow Jonah. And Jonah was inside the fish 3 days and 3 nights. From inside the fish, Jonah prayed to the Lord his God. He said,
In my distress, I called unto the Lord, and he answered me. From the depths of the grave, I cried for help, and you listened to my cry. You hurled me into the sea, into the very heart of the sea. All your currents swept around me, all your waves swept over me. I fled and vanished from your sight. But now I will begin towards your holy temple. Then golden waters threaten me, the deep sea surrounds me. Seaweed is wrapped around my head. To the root of the mountains I sank down, the earth beneath barred me in forever. But you brought my life up from the pit, O Lord my God. When my life was away, I remembered you, and my prayer rose to you, to your holy temple. Those who cling to worthless idols forfeit the grace that could be theirs. But I, with a song of thanksgiving, will offer sacrifices unto you. What I have vowed, I will make good. Salvation comes from the Lord.
Then the Lord commanded the fish, and it vomited Jonah onto dry land. Then the word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time.
Go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim to it the message I will give you.
Jonah obeyed the word of the Lord and went to Nineveh. Now Nineveh was a very important city, and a visit required 3 days. On the first day, Jonah went into the city and proclaimed,
40 more days and Nineveh will be overturned.
The Ninevites believed God and declared a fast, and all of them, from the greatest to the least, put on sackcloth. When the news reached the king of Nineveh, he rose from his throne, took off his royal robe, covered himself in sackcloth, and sat down in the dust. Then he issued a proclamation to Nineveh.
By the decree of the king, nobles, do not let man or beast, herd or flock, eat or drink. Do not let them eat or drink, but let man and beast be covered in sackcloth. Let them give up their evil ways. Who knows? God may yet relent for his fierce anger and be brought to compassion so that we will not perish.
God saw what they did and how they turned from their evil ways. He had compassion and did not bring upon them the destruction he had threatened. But Jonah was greatly displeased. He became angry. He prayed to the Lord his God.
Oh Lord, is this not what I said before I left home? Because I was so quick to flee to Tarshish. I knew you were a compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger and abounding in love. A God willing to become angry. Oh Lord, take away my life. It's better for me to die than to live.
But God said,
Have you any right to be angry?
Jonah went out and sat in a place east of the city. There, he made himself a shelter. He sat in the shade and waited to see what would happen to the city. Then the Lord provided a vine and made it grow up over Jonah. Provided shade to his head and ease as his comfort. Jonah was very happy about the vine. But at dawn the next day, God provided a worm and it chewed the vine so that it withered. Then the sun rose and the Lord provided a scorching east wind. The sun blazed on Jonah's head so he grew faint. He wanted to die instead.
It is better for me to die than to live,
he said. But God said,
Do you have any right to be angry about the vine?
I do! I am angry enough to die!
But God said,
You have been concerned about this vine, but you do not tend it or make it grow. It sprang up overnight.
And died overnight. But
Nineveh has more than 120,000 people
who cannot tell their right hand from their left, and many cattle as well. Should I not be concerned about that great city?
You kids like that?
Yeah!